What is going on, boys and girls? My name is SiahZ, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my OUTLAW Zane build. Now, this build revolves around doing as much crit as possible, and we use Jakobs weapons because it pairs really nicely with critical damage, and it allows us to hit some really high numbers with said crit. So the anoints we're basically going to be running for all of our guns is the barrier anoint. Now this anoint recently got buffed. It used to only do 70% critical hit damage, but now it does 125%. So that pretty big buff right there gave us a lot more damage and made this build just a lot better in general. So let's just get into the shields real quick. So the shield we're going to be running is the Frozen Snowshoe for mobbing. Now what this allows us to do basically is it allows us to go into enemies or packs of enemies or whatever you want to call it. And with the anoint on action skill start, any effects that trigger on shield break or fill. So basically it allows us to keep popping those novas. And just basically allows us to AoE freeze everything. And that allows us to get easy crits with the Queen's Call or the Maggie, and just allows us to basically shred packs of enemies when mobbing and make it pretty much makes it really easy to mob. It gives us a lot of good damage too, and just like I said, because sometimes those crits can be kind of annoying and we're not flak, so we can't just use fade away and get easy crits. This basically allows us to freeze them and just get easy crits like if we were flak. Now, if we're going to be bossing, we're going to swap our shield. We're going to go to the Infernal Wish. Now, what the Infernal Wish allows us to do is it adds 1 projectile per shot when the shield is not depleted, and then firing our weapon can cause self-combustion, which increases with each Infernal stack. So basically, we get 1 projectile per shot when the shield's not depleted, and then firing our weapon can cause self-combustion, which basically gives us more damage the more Infernal stacks we got. But the main reason why we're running it is just for that 1 projectile per shot. Now, if we actually, hold on, if we unequip his shield real quick, and we go over to the Becca, and we fire a shot here. If we go and look at it, these guys can see here, we fire 3 shots and then 1 solo dolo that goes in front. But we're going to be focused on the backpack here. So we fire 3 shots, right? Okay. Now if we go and we throw on the Infernal Wish, and we fire, as we can see now, our, our projectile doubles, basically. So instead of 3, we fire 6 now. So that is the main reason why we're running Infernal Wish with Becca. Basically doubles our damage with this. And for running against bosses that doesn't have crits, or for running the bosses that you can't crit, Becca's going to be the top contender for both non-crits and crits. You can run Rowan's Call. Rowan's Call is still an excellent substitute. If you wanted to, you know, do a different variations, always running the Becca. But if you are talking about damage-wise, the Becca is gonna out-damage the Rowan's Call. But it is kind of annoying because you could technically run like Queen's Call and Maggie and stuff like that for bossing if you can hit crits. But if you're going against like Wotan and stuff like that, or the Valkyries, their crits, especially the Valkyries, like their crit spawns on Valkyries are so annoying to consistently hit. So running the Becca with the Infernal Wish, basically you're just gonna be able to shred them without having to worry about hitting crits. So now that we have our shields covered, let me just go over the guns. So our main mobbing guns are going to be Queen's Call. I prefer the Queen's Call over the Maggie, but you can run Maggie, so it's Queen's Call Maggie for mobbing, and then for bossing, Becca. And then if you can hit crits, you can run like Rowan's Call, and I got a few, other elements if you want to run the Rowan's Call in here. Now, the Queen's Call, you do have to be careful if you're running it for mobbing, because basically when you hit a crit, it creates AoE projectiles that'll come back and do splash damage of that element type. So since we have cryo here, it's going to do cryo AoE, and basically if you're close enough to that enemy, it will basically, you're just going to get down yourself with it. So if you're in like tight quarters and stuff like that, or you're up in an enemy's face, go with the Maggie, so you're not going to be downing yourself. But if you're, like I said, if you're kind of in packs and stuff like that, Queen's Call is just so nice with that AoE damage. So you're going to be able to shred enemies down. So now let's go over what we're running for class mod. For class mod, we are running the Executor. I have 3 Executors in here. So I have, a sniper one. I threw the Skull Masher and stuff like that in here if you guys wanted to run around and snipe a little bit. I got a really good sniper, stat roll for an Executor. Now, our main class one here for mobbing stuff like that is the pistol damage. I couldn't, for the life of me, I grinded for 4 days straight trying to get a pistol damage and Jakobs critical hit damage stat to drop on an executor, and I could not. This is the best one I could get to drop, and I wanted to get this build out there, and I was kind of getting, you know, fatigued from doing the same grind for so long. So if you guys want to go ahead and see if you can have better luck than I have to get a pistol damage, Jakobs critical hit damage stat, executor to drop, then the damage of the, what do you call it, the mobbing, and for the Queen's Call and Maggie, it'll go up even more than what we're doing already. Now for bossing, I also couldn't get an assault rifle and Jakobs weapon critical damage to drop, but one of my friends had one laying in his vault. It was 65, and basically this is going to be fine. You're only going to get like, what, like 5-6% more weapon critical damage and like 4% more assault rifle damage, so it's not really that big of a deal. If you wanted to go best in slot, obviously you could farm it, but that damage is really going to be not even noticeable. Now that's what we're running for class mod, and the reason why we're running executor, I forgot to tell you, is basically because whenever we kill an enemy, we get increased handling, critical hit damage, status effect damage, and status effect chance. So increased crit damage pairs really nicely with this build, since we're basically always hitting crits. So it just gives us more damage on top of the damage that we already have. For our what do you call it, relic, we're running a company man. Basically is the best relic we can run. I had tried running with the what do you call it, with a pearl, but the pearl, since we're really not doing a lot of what do you call it, consecutive hits. I mean, we are, but since we're really not shooting a lot, we're not going to really see that damage increase. And with the Jakobs company man, we're basically going to be always seeing that increase, since it gives us damage and critical hit damage to Jakobs weapons. And since we're always running Jakobs weapons, we're always going to see the damage increase, rather than if we ran a pearl. So that's why we have a company man. You can run a pearl if you are going against bosses. That's the only time I would advise running a pearl, just to get more damage off of the Becca. And I do also have a snowdrift, just to what do you call it, farming, stuff like that, and getting around maps. It's just nice to have one of these. Now for our names really don't matter, but I basically just have a bunch of hunter seekers, and basically on action skill end I have one for each element. So this way when you go against certain bosses or stuff like that, if you want more like shock damage to get their shield down, or more corrosive damage for armor, blah blah blah, basically just swap whatever one you want on, just for an extra little bit of damage. So now that we have that covered, I basically just have one of each element for Queen's Call. I have 7 something here. It's okay, but definitely the Maggie and Queen's Call outperform it for mobbing. Like I said, I have a few Roan's Call. I have some kick chargers and back burners for you guys in here if you wanted to run it for kind of like a second wind type of gun. Like I said, I have an Unseen Threat and a Skull Masher for snipers if you guys wanted to run that. And then our Frozen Snowshoe that you're going to be running for mobbing. The Hunter Seekers, extra class mods for assault rifle, snipe, and pistol damage, and that basically wraps it up. And then I also threw in here like a Hellwalker and stuff like that. And the damage you actually get off a Hellwalker is insane. We're doing like 50 mil or something like that, 40-50 mil with a Hellwalker. So with that said, that basically covers everything for gear. So let's get into skill tree. So for purple tree, we're gonna do 5 out of 5 for mana focus. Basically, the other two, Renegade and Deja Vu, don't help us at all. So mana focus at least gives us some accuracy and handling. And then we get down to the second, what do you call it, tier skills. We go Huntsman's Head for more critical hit damage, and Commitment for more gun damage and action skill cooldown rain. Then we put 1 point in Fugitive, just allows us to shoot while we're sprinting. We go 5 out of 5 in Domino Effect, because Art of War really don't help us at all. This basically gives us more fire rate and critical hit, not critical hit, but more fire rate and reload speed when we score a critical hit. Then we do 1 point in the Share Will, just for more action skill cooldown. And then we do 3 out of 3 for our Racer, and 1 out of 1 for our Man Flint. Basically, Racer allows us to do is when we crit an enemy, it'll go through, create a second projectile. It's kind of just basically like bore off of 0, and it'll keep doing that if you keep hitting crits in a line. So basically, it's just going to allow us to get a crap ton of damage really quickly once we hit a crit. And then our Man Flint basically just gives us bonus damage and stuff like that when we're aiming down the sides of our gun. So we basically always are, so more damage. For Blue Tree, we do 5 out of 5 in Violent Speed and 5 out of 5 in Battle Momentum. Pairs now nicely with each other. Basically more movement speed and more gun damage while the faster we move. Then our main ability skill, Salvation. We do 4 out of 5 in here because we really don't need that extra 3% of healing. We do 1 out of 1 in Seeing Red because this is how we're always going to get our kill skills up. We do 3 out of 5 in Violent Violence, just for a little bit more fire rate. It helps when you're using the Queen's Call, because without that fire rate right here, this is the fastest you can shoot Queen's Call, and the reload is pretty slow. So once you get all that fire rate, it's a little bit more manageable on the fire rate. Then we do 4 out of 5 for playing dirty, and then 4 points from our class mod. We get 8 out of 5 for playing dirty. Basically, what this allows us to do is, after killing an enemy, our next 5 shots all have a chance to fire an additional projectile. So it's nice, a little bit more damage boost for mobbing, and also really nice when we're doing bossing for Becca. Basically, more projectiles already on top of the, times 2 projectiles that we're getting from the Infernal Wish, so more damage. And then this is the main way we're going to keep our shield up, is Good Misfortune. Now we get 1 point from our class mod. You guys can farm out a, more, so you could do like 3 and into, Good Misfortune, and like only like 1 into playing dirty. But I just want more into playing dirty. Basically, whenever we pop our kill skill, our killing enemy increases our action skill duration. So basically, whenever we, if you look here, I'll show you guys. So we pop our shield down, right? And if we pop our Mantis Cannon, as you can see, we get action skill duration back. So basically, this allows us to almost infinitely keep our dome shield up. And this is basically our main way we're going to keep it up throughout bossing and stuff like that. And then the last point goes Death Follows. Basically, all of our kill skills gain a bonus and 7 seconds duration. For Orange Tree, we go 5 out of 5 in Synchronicity and 3 out of 5 in Donnybrook. Synchronicity basically gives us gun damage per active action skill, so even more damage. And then Donnybrook gives us more damage and health regen whenever we kill an enemy. So basically just more damage in Orange Tree. And then a Green Tree, we go 5 out of 5 in Adrenaline for action skill cooldown, and then 5 out of 5 in Brain Freeze, just so we can get the Dome Shield. And that basically covers it for our tree. But that's basically it for this. This build is very fun. It's very enjoyable. Like I said, when you're not hitting crits, it can be a little lackluster at times, but that's why we have the Becca paired with the Infernal Wish. It gives us a crap ton of damage, so even if you're not hitting crits, you're still going to be doing an insane amount of damage. But when you're hitting those crits, especially with the Queen's Call, the AoE explosions that you see, the effects, the particle effects, just the, satisfying shatters that you hear on the enemies. This build's really fun to run and play around with. Now, if you guys have any questions about the build, or you're struggling in certain areas, or certain bosses, like Wotan or something like that, or you just want to play the build in general, I will have the save file in my Discord. So join the Discord, look for the Borderlands 3 save file section, go into there, you'll be able to download the save file and play with it. And if you, like I said, if you had want to ask me any type of questions about the build, or my Cryo Turn Zane build, or any of my builds, you can ask me there, because that's where I'm on 24/7 on Discord. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the build. Make sure you definitely like the video if you guys are enjoying this type of content, you want to keep seeing more builds. And it also helps me to Google algorithm and gets my video out there to more people. Also, if you want to see more of this content, I do have more videos like this on my channel, so definitely hit that subscribe button. And that way you also get notified when new videos, new build videos go live. But that's all I have in store for you today, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.